validation, now I validate myself. Building inner strength, putting doubt up on the shelf. No more unnecessary drama, no more wasted time. Climbing higher constantly, making my own climb. Standing on higher ground, where excellence is found. My potential knows no bounds. Raising the bar, breaking ground. My network is my net worth. Choose your company wise. Surround yourself with eagles, not with sheep in disguise. Every interaction is a reflection of my brand. Quality over quantity, that's my personal command. Standing on higher ground, where excellence is found. My potential knows no bounds. Raising the bar, breaking ground. Whoa. I'm not just living, I'm manifesting my vision. Cutting through limitations with surgical precision. My expectations are my compass, my respect is my shield. To mediocrity and chaos, I will never yield. I'm manifesting my vision, cutting through limitations with surgical precision. My expectations are my compass, my respect is my shield. To mediocrity and chaos, I will never yield. Standing on higher ground, where excellence is found. My potential knows no bounds. Raising the bar, breaking ground. I'm not just living, I'm manifesting my vision. Cutting through limitations with surgical precision. My expectations are my compass, my respect is my shield. To mediocrity and chaos, I will never yield.
How you doing, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome to This and That. I'm your host, Xander, where we're talking about this, that, and everything in between. You know, days never fail that we've got challenges that come in. So we've got to make sure that we overcome all of those challenges. So here we are on this Thursday, overcoming yet another challenge. I got to tell you, even on days off, we got work to do when we're trying to make ourselves higher valued individuals. We're trying to make it make sense in all of this chaos. I even had to come and change the lineup. You know, I was looking at the lineup and I was like, yeah, this ain't going to work. We got to do this one first. So we did a mindset shift, and that's what we're going to be doing today. We're going to be talking about a mindset shift where we will be dealing with the ability to maximize the success of our relationships based on changing our mindset and the way we approach the relationship after we've gotten into it. We've covered a lot of different things on this show about relationships and interactions between men and women, but today, doesn't matter if you're a man or a woman, we're coming from a mindset shift. Make sure that you guys like and subscribe, though. You guys can also join the membership if you got time, and also mash that reaction button. I see a few of y'all going crazy on it right now. Make sure that you guys take the time to hit that reaction button so that the algorithm can wake up and start showing us all over the place. Yeah. Note that we are live 7 nights a week. We typically start at about 11 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, which is about 10 o'clock Central Standard Time, 7 o'clock California time. Uh, and we are live 7 nights a week, like I just said. But we got a different topic every night. A different topic every night. It's not the same old, same old. We do touch base on some things and revisit some things, but for the most part, it's always something new. Uh, oh, that was something I was supposed to do today from yesterday. I was talking to some of the fans. We found a way for you guys to make money by just using your voice. Now, I was supposed to be uh, for the originally scheduled show for the day that I moved to Saturday. Uh, was supposed to be adding in there ways that you can get paid just to stand there. Just stand there, get paid. Because I mean, if there's so many different ways in around the world as well as here in the United States where you could get paid just to be you, like we need to really start looking into all of the ways that we could get ourselves paid. You get paid for your presence, you get paid for your time and effort, and we want to make sure that you can move your money to places where your money will help you get paid without you having to be there. And that's one of the things that we're aiming for right now. So as we dive into that, my boys is going to be coming in, and one of the things we've been doing lately is throwing up some of the other songs from the channel onto the show. So our Higher Ground album that has other songs like Elevation Protocol and Non-Negotiables in there, we'll be throwing those variations of the song in here because I can, and you guys love it. So we're going to be doing that today as well as people start popping in. Probably run through the whole song and then flip to another one as the people pop in, give them a few seconds of their spotlight, showing love to all the fans that come in tonight, every night. And special shout out. So if anybody's got somebody that they want to shout out to, by all means, go for it. You can always put your props out there all over the place. Rep your country, rep your hood, rep your city and state, rep the place that you're going, rep your girlfriend, rep the ones that are in the friend zone that don't know how to get out the friend zone. Whatever you want to do, you just, as long as it's appropriate, we can get it up there. Note that you can click that link, approve the mic, approve the camera, be brought on to the show in real time. Got to be appropriately dressed. I'm gonna see you in the green room before you pop up on the screen, so it's not like you're just gonna pop up on the screen. Also, you got to be over the age of 18 to jump up onto the screen here. If I recognize that you don't look over the age of 18, I'm not going to throw you up there. And knowing that we are catering to the public and individuals that may not be of age on the podcast, trying to learn something, how to make money for them, use their mother's allowance and invest it in ways where they can make themselves financially successful before they're grown. Fact is that I ask that you guys, as we get started, to make sure that your comments are a little bit more respectful for those individuals that are not old enough to know what we're doing. It is an adult podcast, and we will have a few adult vocabularies come through here, which is fine, but try to keep it reasonably appropriate. That's all I ask. As it stands, we're going to go ahead and dive into today's topic. So since you guys are welcome, today we're going to be diving into one of the most transformative tools that you guys have heard on this podcast, at least, and this will be building stronger, healthier relationships and improving your mindsets. And that's why we're talking about today's topic, which is mindset shifts. So we're going to explore a revolutionary way to strengthen your romantic relationships by running it like a business. I know what you guys are thinking. How can something as emotional and personal as love be structured like a business? Truth is, integrating practical strategies into your relationship can enhance the trust, communication, and collaboration in the relationship. Now, relationships are the cornerstone of our happiness and well-being, yet many of us struggle with patterns that hold us back. What if the key to unlocking deeper connections and growth lies not in changing your partner, but in changing the way you think? So let's explore how this can lead us to a successful relationship. Let's start with a simple truth. Your mindset shapes your relationship. The beliefs and attitudes you hold about yourself, your partner, and love itself influences how you communicate, resolve conflicts, and connect emotionally. A fixed mindset is the belief that things can't change, leads to defensiveness, frustration, and disconnection, especially when change is occurring and you're trying to push back against that change. But a growth mindset is the belief that challenges are opportunities and they can transform your relationship into a thriving partnership. Think about it. Successful businesses thrive because of clear goals, mutual accountability, and consistent effort. Similarly, relationships flourish when partners work together intentionally. Running your relationship like a business doesn't mean sacrificing romance. Instead, it's about creating a foundation of stability and shared purpose. Because we all understand that idle minds get into trouble, specifically because we need something to do. Now, we've also discovered over the months in this podcast that a man with no purpose is less responsible. They find themselves in what they dedicate themselves to, and that duty allows them to get out of bed every day and get out there and try to make things successful. Now, before we talk about solutions, let's identify the obstacles many of us face. When communication breaks down, it's often because we're stuck in a fixed mindset. And that's the first dude that jumps in today. We've got Pat. Pat, you know it's coming. Here it is. Let's do this one today. So special shout out to Pat Connets Jr. So Jr. is here. First time tonight. He was here last night. One of the regular fans that comes in. It's like if you guys could just walk down the ramp and pyro start shooting out, I'm telling you, I got y'all. And you guys that are on Twitch and Twitter, you guys can comment into the comment section, and you'll see your comments appropriately visible on the show as well. Pat says a man with no purpose lives for pleasure. Well, yes, destructive mentalities tend to get us into a lot of trouble. So if you have nothing that you are trying to achieve, you're down for whatever. A lot of times outside of physical pleasure, individuals start going from sexual desire to drugs and gambling and higher risk stuff to feel alive. They start challenging gravity in multiple scenarios to feel alive. And it's crazy because they're bored and they have nothing to do with themselves. So they typically get out there and they try to find something that interests them. And ironically, they're not interesting to themselves. So they fill that void with reckless behavior. Ladies will find themselves in the same scenario where if they don't have something to do, they'll end up cheating on you with the pool boy or the tennis coach or the yoga instructor or the bagger at Publix. You're just gonna whatever's going on. Now, while we're on this topic about mindset shifts, I'm thinking about Minecraft, and that's not where we are today. When you're stuck in a fixed mindset, we become defensive, resistant to feedback, and unwilling to truly listen to our partner's perspectives. Now, when we're trying to address these things, it happens on both sides of the fence, but it happens more often with women than it does with men, which is one of the reasons why men complain, because when they're trying to speak, the women aren't trying to hear it, because whatever she prefers, that's the way it goes. But it's not just women who do that. You see this type of mentality in men as well. You see it happening more often in politics, where somebody who's far left is closed-minded to the ideologies of somebody that's on the far right, and vice versa. Not just in gender inequality. So the perspective of an individual that believes that it is what it is, and I'm not going to change it, or I would prefer that it doesn't change, or, whatever, that's going to be the type of individual that's in the position of being the naysayer. When you start trying to find solutions, you're trying to include your partner. It doesn't matter if it's a male or a female, your partner, if they don't want to change, they're going to find every reason why change is bad. If they're not interested in the success of your objective, they're going to find every excuse to devalue every idea that you come up with to resolve the situation. It keeps you in chaos. It keeps you dissatisfied. But that's one of the reasons why we're talking about it today. Because this creates a cycle of blame and resentment that damages trust. He said that she didn't do what she was supposed to do. She says that he didn't do what he was supposed to do. They're continuously going back and forward on one another instead of trying to resolve the problem. Now, another major challenge is failing to validate each other's emotions. And ladies, this is something that y'all have an issue with on the dominant forefront. Now, yes, men forget to validate their women, but women fish for compliments. Does this outfit make my butt look big? Is my top too big? Does my stomach look too big? What do you think about these underwear? Yes, I go with women in dressing rooms because they want me to tell them what my honest opinion is. And I'm going to be honest with you here, even here on this and that, I give honest opinions, and sometimes they don't like what I got to tell them. Should have been a fashionista, but nah. Now, when we assume we know what our partner is thinking or feeling without taking the time to understand, we leave them feeling unheard and unappreciated. Now, I understand that a lot of time women want a man to know what a woman is thinking, and they try to condition the man to know what she's thinking without ever telling him what she's thinking. Like, you're supposed to assume this when I say or do that. That training class never happens. It's just you're supposed to know going into the relationship, as if you kind of like downloaded this information into your head as soon as you started dating, like it was an automatic upload file just waiting to happen. And that's not going to work until Elon Musk puts the Neuralink in everybody's head as a mandatory requirement. But a fixed mindset can also lead to excessive need for control. Now, why try to change or manipulate our partner to fit our expectations instead of embracing their unique qualities? My question is, if you have somebody that you are satisfied with, that you're choosing to stay with on a long-term basis, this isn't a friends with benefits scenario or a one-night stand. This is a situation where you and your partner are trying to build a foreseeable future together. Now, that in and of itself means that you should be asking yourself, why are you not finding somebody that meets 80 to 90% of your expectations, where the other 10 or 20% of expectations that they have that you don't like, you can tolerate and just don't worry about it? Why not do that? Love who loves you. You're already halfway there. I mean, it does make sense, but not a lot of people really think about it from that perspective. Now, this stifles growth and creates tension in the relationship. And that tension is going to be like short answers where they're like quick one-word answers or something to that effect. They're going to be more distant. They're going to be more secretive. They're going to be more busy, which means they're not going to rearrange their time for you. You have to fall into their schedule, stuff to that effect. And it starts making things harder, which leads you to resenting your partner, even if you and your behavior inadvertently cause them to behave that way. Then they're going to not only see that you're not willing to change for them without them telling you that they have a problem, you also experience that how dare you be mad at me when you're the one who made the mistake attitude. That's why I tell you guys on both sides of the fence that y'all need to pay attention to each other. Now, let's talk about some solutions. Shifting your mindset can be helpful. You can break free from these patterns and cultivate healthier ways of connecting. Money is one of the biggest stressors in the relationships. And I've been telling you guys that between 58% of women and 75% of the population are like, yeah, money is a problem. Money is a problem. By treating finances as a collaborative project, you can turn potential conflicts into opportunities for growth. Budgeting and resource management in your relationship, just like a business would, can aid you in tracking expenses and investments. Couples should plan to budget together and align on financial priorities. Now, this is something that has basically become a fact, because if you're micromanaging your financial side of things, you have less things to argue about. Now, once you start getting into wealth building, you want to recognize that pooling resources to achieve long-term goals, like saving for retirement, buying properties, creating shared success through things like investing in Bitcoin or investing in high dividend yield, high interest bearing accounts. You've got to put your money in a lot of places. And if you've got a partner that's willing to go in on that, you're going to be set. You're going to be extra set. Now, you want to make sure that you address financial transparency, because discussing debt, income, and spending habits openly builds trust and prevents misunderstandings. Some examples include imagining yourself scheduling monthly money talks with your partner, where you review expenses and set financial goals together. It's not just or it's not just practical, actually. It's not practical, but it is empowering. Well, I tell you what, 2 hours sleeps is not good for me. Oh, boy. Now, the collaboration is the backbone of any successful relationship, whether in business or in love. So when it comes to business partnerships, some couples start businesses together, leveraging trust to build something meaningful. Clear communication and defined roles are essential here. Now, when you start dealing with teamwork at home, there's my guy. There we go.
This is the elevation. Protocol, rising above the chaos, taking control. My values not negotiable, my worth is my law. Surrounding myself with excellence, that's what I saw.
Got to give you a little intro. Hopefully you're doing okay today, Rev. So yeah, we're getting into some good meat and potatoes, because now we're talking about managing your relationship like a business. I teach you guys about making businesses from the ground up. Now I'm teaching you guys how to socialize in your personal life like a business. Now, when you're managing your household tasks, collaborative mirrored effects equivalent to those of business operations, you will be able to see a larger quantity of results. He said, I'm well, bro. That's good to hear. That's good to hear. So, side note, what's your position on the pastor that locked the doors for $40,000 worth of revenue? Trying to get those folks to give up their hard-earned money for a service. Because my thought was, he shouldn't have locked the doors. He should have charged him a surcharge, hit him like Amazon. Have him give to the building fund. I don't know what he needed $40,000 for, besides a a loan shark or a bad debt, but Pastor said, we ain't leaving until y'all give me $40,000. It's supposed to be a discretionary choice. He would have did better compelling the people that was watching from social media to donate to the channel, where he wasn't going to go off the air until he got the $40,000. That would have made more sense, where people can go and come and say, choose. One of the things I thought was funny about this is that he's supposed to be, one of those men of God, when the Lord said, go out and teach, not lock them in a room. So you teach to those who want to learn, right? But he's like, nah, they're not going to let him get away. I thought that was really interesting. When you're treating your relationship like a business, you want to divide responsibilities based on strengths to maximize efficiency. There's an old saying called put your aces in their places. That's a good way to go. So if you notice somebody can't do something, instead of expecting them to do that, or I shouldn't say can't, because you can do whatever you put your mind to. The only thing stopping you from doing it is someone who has more authority over your situation than you do that won't allow you to do it. So it's not that you can't do it. Somebody else is interfering with your ability to do it. But it doesn't mean that you can't do it. You can do it if you try hard enough, if you bypass that authority figure, if you get support, because support can come from constituents that can advocate for you. Support can come from a large following, protests, dropping a recession song while you're doing your 3-minute conjugal call like R. Kelly did. You can get support in all kind of ways. Him and Diddy gonna be doing a remix album. Had I listened to my mind when it told me no, my body wouldn't have had me in jail. Now, a pro tip in treating your relationship like a business is when you treat your home like a thriving enterprise, you want to make sure that you schedule weekly check-ins. Now, I've told you guys in the past to at least do monthly check-ins, but recent research has determined that if you do weekly check-ins to review household goals, you can use this time to address concerns and constructive criticism and celebrate small victories where you can notate that you've accomplished something. If you guys were trying to spring clean a specific portion of the house and you finally got everything dealt with, you guys can celebrate that. If you were supposed to fix something, put something together, paint something, do a massive project in a backyard, you're trying to spring clean right now from the wintertime. There are some people who still have a large quantity of phases in their house where they decorate their house for the upcoming holidays. So right now, while you're in the spring, you got some people who might take down all their winter decorations and put up spring decorations. And I mean, if you ain't got no life, if you off, then yeah, that makes sense. Me, I work too much to be decorating nothing. I'm looking here looking like, decorate what? Shoot. Decorate one of these dogs is about it. Now, you want to remember that every successful business has clearly defined roles, and so should your relationships. So we should not have a situation where people don't know where they're supposed to stand in line. Your household management is supposed to be designed where, since you're assigning the task based on individuals' interests or expertise, you want to ensure that both partners, you and the others involved, are all contributing within reason, because you can't necessarily get equal contribution, but you can get a stable quantity of effective and acceptable contributions to progress your situation in a favorable direction. while you're doing this, you want to make sure that you start developing a strategic plan. When you're creating a vision for your future together, so you and your partner are creating a vision that the both of you can benefit from, where whatever it is that you were initially trying to do can also include time for the other thing. That gives you guys the ability to, one, feel heard, feel validated, and be working towards the same thing where you're not in it alone. Now, dang, hard to eat this spicy chip. It's the Pringles hot ones. Spicier than Doritos. Now, whether it's planning a vacation or career moves, having shared goals strengthens your bonds. Because if he or she is working towards your success and then you're going to turn around and work towards their success, you guys will find yourselves feeling more supportive. Because just when you loathe getting up and trying to accomplish a heavy task, you find your partner already in the mix trying to get some of the stuff done. It gives you extra energy to see it through. Now, for the sake of, I want you guys to take 5 minutes now. And while I'm over here talking, I want you guys to jot down one task you excel at and one you'd like help with. And then put them in the comment section. Also, you guys can take the time to write down one limiting belief you've identified in yourself. Now, after that, I want you to notate one action step you'll take this week to challenge that in your personal life, in your relationship. And after we share these here on the channel today, you can also share these with your partner or someone close to you, a best friend or a colleague. This is the first step towards effective teamwork and creating lasting change. Marriage is more than just love. It's also a legal contract with real world implications. Prenuptial agreements clarify financial arrangements in case of divorce, reducing uncertainty. Similarly to estate planning, where collaborating on wills ensures that your assets align with shared values. Now, you can set up a will while she's standing there, and then when she leaves, you can change that bad boy where the beneficiary is no longer the beneficiary. Or you guys can be partners and you can make sure that since she's helping you with this, that you will end up with this when she passes. Or, yeah, that's how that works. Or since you're helping her with this, that you'll end up with this. Yeah, I said that right. I had to think about that because men usually die first. So she's going to end up with all of this when you pass, because women outlive men strategically because of the stress. We be losing all the hair on top of our head. It start growing bald. We start shaving our heads clean and Gillette razors and hair Rogaine for men to comb the grays out of our beard because we stressed out. We try to figure out how. Because we did not pick the woman that would relieve our stress and bring us peace. We picked an attractive woman that probably doesn't do much working towards our peace, regardless of what she's doing in the relationship. Now, while you're thinking about what's going on, if you think of these tools as not barriers, but as safeguards that protect what you're building together, you guys would be in a better situation. Now, here's where the magic happens. And I know that usually when you hear this during a cribs tour, they usually take you straight into the bedroom or whatever room where they're doing the nasty on a regular basis. Here's where the magic happens, but not today. And it comes down to making your relationships better. Here's where the magic happens. Combining practical strategies with emotional depth is going to bring logic and reason to emotional validation. Where men operate off of logic and reason and women operate off of emotions. And you merge that together and utilize the best versions of both of those ideologies, you end up in a situation where both parties not only understand, but are willing and capable of agreeing to the outcome of the discussion. You're going to be needing mutual support. So you have to be each other's advisor and motivator during challenges. I can tell you, I got some people that ride with me and they make it a point to backseat drive when I drive. And while it gets on my dang nerves, at the same time, I also recognize that it is in my best interest when they notice that I might have not have been doing it the right way, that they said something instead of allowing me to mess it up, assuming that I should have already known that. Because I believe that, I mean, if you see failure coming, you should say something. And if you don't say something, then you're going to be partially liable for not intervening with the chaos that's about to happen. Now, if you align your visions, you'll be able to understand if life goals create unity in the decision making. Because it depends on what you guys are trying to accomplish. If one of you is going all the way to the left and the other one's going all the way to the right, you guys are going to end up parting ways because you're going to find that it is too much effort for the average person to double back for the person that they left behind. It's a hard, tough cookie to swallow, but that's the way things go. So if your goals are linear to one another, if they're parallel goals, they don't have to cross each other's paths, but they should not deviate away from one another, then you guys would be on the right track. Now, there's this real life story where I once worked with a couple who started weekly relationship meetings, and they used this time to address the concerns as well as celebrate the wins. Because I keep telling the ladies, y'all got to make sure that for every complaint that you bring to a man, you bring 10, 20, 25 compliments to that same man, because in doing so, you're not verbally attacking him on a regular basis about your dissatisfaction. You're providing a positive and negative feedback, like a status review from the job. And when you get a status review from the job, if it sucks because you suck. But if you get a status review from the job and it's telling you about some of the things that you did right and some of the things that need improvement, you're looking, the only thing you pay attention to are the things that need improvement. Most people do not look at their progress reviews from their bosses and look at what they did right. They typically look at the two things. What raise did they get from this evaluation, if any? And if there was a reason why you didn't get the maximum raise you was expecting to get, what did you do wrong that you can change to get the rest of your money for that raise? So you're only paying attention to the complaints. Now, when you think about it, I told you guys this before. When doing a business with a company, Google them. Doing business with a person, Google them and look for the complaints. Because people can have compliments on a regular basis or just don't say nothing. But the people who took the time to write a complaint, especially if it's a detailed complaint, several pages long or 7 paragraphs long, yeah, that person had a bad time. You want to see what kind of time that is. And if more than one person is referencing the same style of complaint, you know that's a problem. It's a problem in the company. It's a problem in a relationship. Now, the couple that I mentioned to you a moment ago, over time, their communication improved dramatically. And they were able to live a happier lifestyle once they got over those hurdles. Now, I know I've talked to you guys about vulnerability a lot of times, and it is a key factor because vulnerability being scary, it's the gateway to intimacy and trust. Told you guys this last week. So while you're willing to open yourself up, you're able to create space for those deeper connections. The vulnerability will allow us to learn, share fears, dreams, emotions without fear of judgment with our partner. That's going to be when you start having those A-grade relationships, when you can tell your partner that you screwed up and they're not going to curse you out, yell at you, raise your voice. I gave somebody I know an instruction last week. They didn't do it till today. So I said, well, look, it still needs to be done. So tomorrow, go ahead and tackle that. I explained why I asked them to do it. Oh, okay. Did I fuss and argue and nag? No. I need you to take care of this to make sure that I don't have to take care of this in 30 days. Because money's going to be different in 30 days. Oh, now, can I be disappointed for the person not following the instructions last time? Why, yes, I could be. It's not necessary, though, because for whatever reason that they didn't do it, it doesn't change the past. That's one of the things when we're dealing with conflict resolution in relationships that both sides of the fence usually forget when there's a breakdown in communication. It does not matter who did what in the past. What matters is what can we both agree on doing so that there isn't a repeat of what we both recognize was a past mistake. If you're driving your car without a seatbelt, you get a seatbelt ticket. Next time you get in the car, you're putting on your seatbelt. Driving a car with no gas in it, now you got to pay for a tow truck. Next time you get in the car, you got an extra gas can in the car. It don't matter that you drove past the gas station and didn't stop to put gas in the car. What matters is that there wasn't enough gas in the car to begin with for you to run out of gas on your journey. So the goal is to make sure that there's more gas in the car so that that type of scenario doesn't happen in order for that bad choice to be made. Because the only reason why the person ended up with a towing scenario was because the car wasn't full of gas when they got in it. Now, that doesn't apply when you're driving cross country, but when you're driving cross country, you should have 2 or 3, 5 gas cans in the back of your vehicle somewhere. So when we're thinking about making these changes, we have to also recognize that outside of vulnerability, we also have empathy. Empathy and sympathy are 2 different things. Sympathy is pitying somebody. Empathy is having understanding for that person. And empathy is something that we do not cater to here in Western America because we could care less your perspective. We prefer our perspective to be the dominant perspective. And we can't have a collective demand in an environment where a collective behavior does not thrive. So when we start recognizing that we need to utilize empathy more often, we recognize that empathy is about seeing things from your partner's perspective, which is why when we're talking about this and that and everything in between, as a matter of fact, we talk about the man side of the perspective, because we definitely have to give this from the perspective of a man, but we also talk about it from, if the roles were reversed, would it be logically and hypothetically fair for the woman to experience the same madness? If the answer is fair, where no matter what gender is there, no matter what person is there, the outcome remains the same, then it's balanced. Now, you have to remember, outside of empathy, it's not just about listening and empathizing with what they got going on by telling them a similar story. If they tell you about somebody who died, you're gonna tell them about 10 people who died. That's not what this is about. It's about you understanding that you have an idea of their situation. If you've experienced it before, you're not going to bring up your experience to ratify your desire to be in this conversation. You're simply just going to be in the conversation with the person, and if they need some support, you provide it to them. So understanding their emotions and validating their experiences is the key factors of empathy that a lot of people are forgetting with. And this mindset shift builds bridges where there once were none, or in scenarios where the bridges were actually walls. Relationships aren't about achieving perfection, they're about evolving together. And a growth mindset encourages curiosity over fear, helping you approach challenges as opportunities for learning rather than threats. If you feel like your change or improvement or being involved in something is threatening to you, then you need to first get you some counseling, whether you get it from us on this and that, or you get you some counseling from a licensed provider, and basically explain to them all the stuff that we be talking about here on the show, so that they can kind of help you work through your suppressed anger. You want to make sure that you're utilizing gratitude, because gratitude will shift your focus from what's lacking to what's abundant in your relationship. Because you can have most things that you need and be complaining about the thing you forgot to go get. If you bought 300 things and you forgot one, it doesn't matter that you don't have 301. You can go pick that other one up depending upon the validity of the item. Now, appreciating your partner. This is going to go both ways. You have to appreciate their unique strengths and their contributions to the relationship, such as it is. And you are going to foster positivity and mutual respect, because as I told you ladies before, y'all need to be making a safe zone, conflict-free area where your partner can tell you what just happened so that you can better prepare yourself for it. Now, as we start by recognizing any subconscious beliefs holding you back, like always right, or I can't trust others, or I just can't, if you replace these with empowering beliefs that will encourage openness and adaptability. Now, you want to make a habit to listen attentively during conversations with your partner, with your bosses, with some of your colleagues. You want to focus fully on what they're saying without interrupting or assuming. You don't let them start the sentence and then you try to finish the sentence. This is their story. Listen to their story. Ladies, sit down and count to 1,000 Mississippi. Do not interfere. When conflicts arise, ask yourself, what can I learn from this? And this simple question shifts your mindset from resistance to curiosity. Whether it's resolving a disagreement or simply spending quality time together, celebrating small successes can keep you motivated, highly motivated, for a longer period of time. Now, businesses thrive on clear communication, and so do relationships. So, as we explained earlier, those regular check-ins give you a help pattern where your partner can express their concerns constructively. Addressing small issues early prevents them from growing into larger issues. A structured approach helps couples navigate tough times with greater ease. Just like businesses that plan for growth, couples who set long-term goals to build stronger foundations for their future have to follow these same plans. Now, of course, mixing love with logic isn't without its hurdles, because you have overemphasize practicality, where you don't let your structure overshadow your emotional intimacy, and balance is what you're going to be trying to strive for in that particular type of concept. You want to remember the power dynamics. because unequal contributions can lead to resentment, and open dialogue is critical, and the lines are always blurry. So you want to clearly separate personal life from your professional ventures. If you're shifting your mindset, this isn't just about improving your relationship, it's about transforming how you approach life itself. By embracing vulnerability, fostering empathy, prioritizing growth, and overprotection, as well as cultivation, gratitude, you unlock deeper connections that enrich both your partners and your relationships. Now, this is going to improve the well-being of your relationships. So I encourage you guys to give it a shot, try swinging at it. And I want to challenge you guys to see if you guys can put forth the effort to learn and grow with your partner and make different decisions. Now, I can tell you that when I was talking about this with so many other people, I was like, man, start up a business with your partner, start up a business with your loved one, and then make that money make money for you. Where I told you guys, hey, Rev, you know that you at 50 to 55,000 a year could date a woman that's making 50 to 60,000 a year. You could be paying the majority of the bills. Her 55, 60,000 a year, she could give you 15, 20,000 a year to help cover the bills. That leaves her at $40,000 a year. Now, you know something, Rev? I've been crunching the numbers. At about 15% interest on average, you put that 40,000 a year away every year with compounded interest for 10 years, y'all made yourselves a millionaire. So anybody who is able to date a female for 5 years, you should have close to $500,000 in the bank if y'all been dating for 5 years. If y'all don't got $500,000 in the bank and y'all been dating for 5 years, y'all doing something wrong. Y'all doing something wrong. You're wasting money somewhere, because unless you're living above your means, which is a waste of money, then you should have plenty to do what you got to do. So instead of the women looking for $100,000 a year men, I'm telling them, hey, you can find you some higher value men that are making 50 grand, because his 50 grand and your 50 grand makes 100 grand, and y'all are living on a $50,000 a year lifestyle, which means your 50 grand isn't on his 50 grand, which means you should be able to take your 50 grand and invest it in the stocks and bonds and make y'all a multimillionaire inside of 10 years. The method to the madness, where men would have no problem with collaborating because you are part of the solution. And if you're not part of the solution, if you're invisible to the solution, then you're invisible to the whole team. So you want to take these principles home and you want to apply them intentionally in your relationships. Now, these results might surprise you, and they'll definitely inspire growth. Running your business relationships like a business, or running your relationships like a business, not your business relationships, your personal life relationships that you're running like a business, isn't about removing the romance. It's about creating intentional and stable environments that allows love to flourish. By embracing collaboration, transparency, and shared goals, you can transfer or transform your partnership into something extraordinary. Now, I'd love to hear from you guys as to what strategies are you most excited to try going forward, and what resonated most with you today. And then, are there any other questions that you guys have as far as conquering the world, and you have specific mindset shifts that you're excited to try? I want to make sure that you guys share those, and any other questions that you might have that could inspire you as an individual. And if you get those in the comment section today, that'd be greatly awesome. And we can go over a lot of them. After you guys have put up quite a few of them, I might even might air some of them and put my comments on there, give you guys a rundown as to what it looks like in the life of Xander. when we're trying to make everything happen at the same time. Now, I know today is a short day. I'm looking at the clock. I'm like, oh, wow, today is a short day. And one of the reasons why today is a short day is because, like I said, we had a burnout moment earlier today. And there isn't really a lot about this topic. This topic does explain itself, but this is a very big learning curve that I'm going to be talking about in follow-up shows, because if we are living and acting and functioning off of that particular type of mindset, we would see ourselves in a better position financially. And with a better financial position, we should see more positive relationships and more positive engagements, instead of women dry begging for men, and then the guy takes him out to dinner, the woman can do her own thing, and then, you know, get with a man that she can partner with and share the responsibilities, as well as make it work on her own, instead of just complaining about the fact that the guy's not bringing as much as she wants him to bring. These are things that we got to think about. Now, remember, we're live 7 nights a week. I managed to get tomorrow and Saturday show up there. I got to get Sunday show up there. So Friday night, that's where we are. Friday night, Saturday morning. And make sure that you guys, if you haven't been recklessly mashing that reaction button the same way we were fighting Sephiroth in the valley, like just mashing that button really fast. Make sure that you guys take time, because I'm not going to keep you here, because I didn't get my 40 grand talking about some, we're not going offline until you give us shit. I tell you what, I don't even know why YouTube didn't do away with that man's account. That made no sense. But when you got money, you got money. He got hit with $1 million bond. I thought that was crazy too. Likewise, we've got coming up today, we were talking about getting ourselves together. We have later on in the show about women's career choice, pulling them away from their boyfriends and their husbands and their children, and basically analyze the difference between what you need and what you want. So as we progress throughout the weekend until we get to our members only show on Sunday, we're going to be showing you guys something a little bit different everywhere, so that you guys can kind of, you know, figure out how you decide to make this make sense. With that being said, as I told you guys before, it is a short show. I do have to wrap things up, because ironically, I also have a contract following this one. Got to make money everywhere. Oh, they did give us the information for the food, the Fresh Chef. So as soon as I get that shipped in, we're going to be talking about that on the show. If I can utilize some visual aids, that'd be fantastic. I'll be able to put that up here and give you guys a woot, a holla back off of what we do with the show. Probably even throw on the This and That apron. That way everything makes sense with that. So with all due respect, I got to say, ladies, as long as the situation doesn't make sense, I'm going to keep asking you ladies to make it make sense. So ladies, please make it make sense. I know that we've been running through some 2 to 5 hour shows over the past week, and we're going to get back to those as the information becomes more fluent to the active person. Just remember that we're here 7 nights a week, 11 o'clock on California time, 10 o'clock Central America, and then 7 o'clock p.m. These are all p.m. times for Pacific Standard Time, which is California time. And then the rest of us, it is 4 a.m. Green Minutes time and 4 a.m. Universal Standard Time. So I want you guys to make sure that you tiptoe over and take a look. Beyond that, we are 75% of the podcast is fellas. I really appreciate you guys coming to the show and showing us love. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to let you guys go. So thank you for coming to This and That. If you guys got any comments that pop up between now and the end of the show, we've got the 4-minute outro song, Higher Ground. I will throw your comments up there as long as they're appropriate. So hang out and enjoy Higher Ground. We have all 5 songs in the description of every show. So if you want to go listen to the songs in their entirety, you can always click some of the links in the description, take you to the YouTube channel for free, or you can go and purchase the music off of Amazon or something to that effect, Shopify, someplace like that. So lastly, thank you guys for coming to This and That. I'm your host, Xander, where we talk about this, that, and everything in between. And I will see you guys tomorrow night.
Higher ground. Used to chase validation, now I validate myself. Building inner strength, putting doubt upon the shelf. No more unnecessary drama, no more wasted time. Climbing higher, constantly making my own climb. Standing on higher ground where excellence is found. My potential knows no bounds, raising the bar, breaking ground. My network is my net worth. Choose your company wise. Surround yourself with eagles, not with sheep in disguise. Every interaction is a reflection of my brand. Quality over quantity, that's my personal command. I'm not landing on higher ground where excellence is found. My potential knows no bounds, raising the bar, breaking ground. I'm not just living, I'm manifesting my vision, cutting through limitations with surgical precision. My expectations are my compass, my respect is my shield to mediocrity and chaos. I will never I'm not just living, I'm manifesting my vision, cutting through limitations with surgical precision. My expectations are my compass, my respect is my shield to mediocrity and chaos. I will never yield.